I'm happy to welcome all of you, especially Professor Hiram, to be with us this afternoon. Selamat sore, Pak Professor. And also, I welcome Pak Arta Hanif, the chairman of ASITA. And ladies and gentlemen, the topic of today's meeting is responsible tourism. It's not by coincidence I was invited by the UK Responsible Tourism Initiative. It was November 6, 2022, when I was in London, and I was there to sign Magna Carta Charter, which was very interesting. There were all tourism leaders from all over the world, and I don't know, Professor, you were there also. By coincidence, yes, I may say this. One of the initiators is Professor Harold Goodwin, is my good friend since I was very young in 1990. So we both were in Komodo for a research for the sustainability of Komodo and surroundings, Komodo National Park. I learned from there what the responsible tourism is. But however, today we will listen from Professor Hiram to tell us about responsible tourism that we should implement in our life, in our tourism development from now and on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 67th of our IINTOA regular meeting. We do the meeting normally on Friday afternoon at this time, 3 to 5 o'clock p.m. in Jakarta. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to ask the chairman to make the opening speech. I choose the chairman first, not because of whose organizations bigger than the others, but I choose the chairman to start the first to speak because of he is younger than the others. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming speech by Dr. Paul Edmundus Talo as SOS MPAR, the chairman of IINTOA, and follow with IINTOA brief introduction. Please, Pak Paul.
I'm happy to welcome all of you, especially Professor Hiram, to be with us this afternoon. Selamat sore, Pak Professor. And also, I welcome Pak Arta Hanif, the chairman of ASITA. And ladies and gentlemen, the topic of today's meeting is responsible tourism. It's not by coincidence I was invited by the UK Responsible Tourism Initiative. It was November 6, 2022, when I was in London, and I was there to sign Magna Carta Charter, which was very interesting. There were all tourism leaders from all over the world, and I don't know, Professor, you were there also. By coincidence, yes, I may say this. One of the initiators is Professor Harold Goodwin, is my good friend since I was very young in 1990. So we both were in Komodo for a research for the sustainability of Komodo and surroundings, Komodo National Park. I learned from there what the responsible tourism is. But however, today we will listen from Professor Hiram to tell us about responsible tourism that we should implement in our life, in our tourism development from now and on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hiram. Really, it's an amazing presentation. I really would like to stop you on 410, but I really don't dare to stop because your explanation, your presentation was so interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to inform you that from education sectors, here attend Pak Pranoto from Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Ekonomi and Pariwisata, Ibu Leni from University of Asa Indonesia, or it was Akpindo before, Pak Wahyu from SMK Jaya Wisata, and then from press there is Ibu Duyani and also Pak Joseph. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, before we go through the Q&A section, is there any things that Ibu Leni will tell about the conference on next August? Bu Leni, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Yongki, for the opportunity. I would like to share a little bit. I don't want to spend more of your time. Okay, good. So I would like to again promote our conference. It is the International Conference on Responsible Tourism and Hospitality 2023. It will be held in Bogor on 21st until 23rd of August. And actually, there will be an optional fieldwork related to ecotourism and community-based fieldwork, which will be held after the conference on the 24th until 25th of August. It will be held in Taman Nasional Gunung Gede Pangrango. So the conference itself, as briefly mentioned by Dr. Hiram, will be having keynote speeches. We invited the Pak Sandiaga Uno, and then we will have another keynote speeches as well from UNWTO and from other international bodies. And we will have industrial seminars. I invited Ibu Hasiana earlier to also be one of our speakers. We also have academic presentations where the topics will related to tourism and responsible tourism mainly. And we will have workshops. For workshops, we invited the speakers from the Ministry of Tourism. The speaker will speak about a carbon print calculator. So it will be good for ASITA and IINTOA members to also join this workshop, where the speaker will also interact with the audience, with delegates, on how our tourists can calculate their own carbon print. So it will be a very good opportunity. So we'd like to also invite the members of ASITA and IINTOA for this. Besides that, we will also have a panel session where one of the speakers will be also from the Ministry of Tourism. The topic will be on green investment, because when we visited the Ministry of Tourism, Dr. Franz Teguh, one of the senior from the ministry, he said that there are lots of sources of fundings that is related to the green investment that is not accessible or not known by the travel or tourism industry people. So we decided to also invite the speaker on this. So these sources of fundings related to green investments for the tourism or travel industry can also be accessed by the practitioners. And we will have the legacy, which is the tree planting. We hope that the ASITA and IINTOA members can also join. And on the last day, on the 23rd of August, we will have the Declaration of Responsible Tourism. So far, we have the commitment from the Mayor's Office that an IPB and from my university, Universitas Asa Indonesia, to to have the declaration of responsible tourism. It will be very wonderful if INTOA and ASITA. Wait a minute. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Still on. Yeah.
Okay. So it will be wonderful if INTOA and ASITA can also join this declaration of responsible tourism. And another one is the field work, where I mentioned that we will visit Taman Nasional Gede Pangrango, Gunung Gede Pangrango on 24th and 25th of August. And as Dr. Hiram mentioned, that we are trying to promote responsible tourism across Southeast Asia. So I myself is connected with the Southeast Asia Research Academy, where we have this magazine called Impact. It is international magazine for practitioner, academic, and community transformation. So if you have some works that some writing that you can share with us, we would be very happy to share it with our community or publish it in Impact. Another platform is the what Dr. Hiram mentioned, the International Center for Responsible Tourism in Southeast Asia. So from Indonesia, there are 3 members. One of the members is myself. So if you have work that is related to responsible tourism, please, you can write directly to the website, or you can contact me, and I will we can work together on how to promote what has been done by INTOA and ASITA members related to responsible tourism. So I think that is all from me, Pak Yongki. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Ibu Leni. Ladies and gentlemen, our audience, before we proceed with Q&A, I would like to take the privilege for the 2 chairmen, Pak Paul and Pak Arta, to say some words about the presentation, about the conference. Please, who's first? Pak Arta or Pak Paul? Pak Paul, please.
Pak Yongki.
Yep.
Professor, it is very impressed. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. It's very highly appreciated. I have learned, and also as I told you that I was there. I was in Manakarta to sign the charter for responsible tourism 2022. And I have learned, but today I have learned more from you, Professor, and it's very valuable. I believe that the member of INTOA very appreciate for your, yes, I may say, if you say it's not a lecture, and I have to say, this is a lecture. Thank you, Professor. Really, I really mean it. I really mean it, and it gives me more knowledge and or to complete what I have learned about responsible tourism, and I have implemented in my more than 40 years in tourism as a practitioner, as a tour operator, and today, yes, I really admire what you have shared with us. Number 1. Number 2, about the international conference for responsible tourism. May I suggest you, Ibu, if you can consider, why not to invite Professor Harold Goodwin as a speaker, instead of invite someone from UNWTO. You invite the right person who can talk the right thing about responsible tourism.
Yeah, Pak Paul, I already invited him.
Oh, good, Pak.
So he will consider whether he could make it. But Rupesh from India, because India is taking the lead, so they will likely join this conference as well.
He was in Kerala, right?
He was in Kerala, so I personally invited him to join this conference.
if you don't mind, Professor, I can action as a personal, as a personal friend. I can mention, I can write to him that he might come to Bogor, to Indonesia for the second. It will be the second time he visited Indonesia.
Wow. Yeah.
After 32 years.
Okay.
So, as I told you, I know him very well, and he's my personal friend. And yes, why not?
Yeah.
So he will talk the right thing, and we invite the right person. I thank you very much, Professor, if you have done it. And yes, I will write my personal letter for him.
That's great.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Silakan
Okay.
Pak Ketum Asita, my good friend, Bapak
Arta Hanif.
Yes, Arta Hanif, please, Pak.
Thank you very much, Pak Paul Edmundus Talo, Prof. Hiram, and other friends. Let me introduce Pak Paul is the youngest doctor in tourism. He got the doctoral degree at the age of 72.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the youngest doctor.
No, never too late.
Never too late to learn.
Yes.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Prof. Hiram, let's have the words from Pak Arta Hanif, the chairman of ASITA. Please, Pak Arta.
Yes, thank you very much, Pak Jongki. Pak Professor Hiram, Masya Allah, I can say the presentation is very, very admire, very, very good. I mean, I can imagine if after this presentation, if all of us can implement in practice, I can have very good dream about Indonesian. If we are talking about Indonesian for the next. So I think the social movement that you mentioned when in your presentation, I think it is very, very principle, where it is very serious to continuous effort by all the sectors. I just, if possible, Professor Hiram, it is possible for you to give very definite point, the important point to the tourism business man. I mean, for the tourism tour operators. Yeah, not only because this responsible tourism will involve so many sectors, government, the society, many factors. But in terms of the tourism association, in terms of the tourism tour operators, what is the very minimum requirement? Because we are in practice. We are in practice. What we in our thinking, in our concept, in practice is how to get the profit. Yeah. So how in practice, how we can do the good way to have the very good profit, of course, but we can also contribute also. Yeah. To make sure the responsible tourism for the next. It is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by having this, so I hope in TOA and ASITA as well can do always provoke to our member for the very specific point that we are listening from Professor Hiram. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Arta Hanif. Prof. Hiram, I think Pak Paul, Pak Arta may be the good candidates to be the speaker to do the presentations on your conference next August.
Exactly.
Agree.
including also Ibu Yana. Maybe Ibu Yana would like to say something about what we have heard from Professor Hiram.
Yeah, okay, thank you for the time, Pak Yongki. For me, for myself, actually, it's like to refresh my mind, because long time ago, I think I already heard some of the what Prof. Hiram say, all of them, because I learned a bit biology at the time. So for me, it's like refreshing my mind. But secondly, it's really make me not more than understand, but real. I mean, I would like to do something in real life. And Pa Arta just asking you about how we do the good things for the reality in our life. I think it's more or less all of us, when we conduct our tour with our clients, we always serve a bottle of mineral water every day for one person for the tours. How about we change it?
Right.
Not a bottle because the bottle is usually in plastic.
Right.
So how about we change to give the client a tumbler, maybe a little bit expensive, but then we can ask them every day to make to put the mineral water in their tumbler, and then they can use it every day, you know. So we will not serve them every day with the plastic bottle anymore. I think that's already make us to reduce using the plastics.
Right.
Yeah, we can then put some, you know, some calculate how many plastics that we reduce, rather than we use it every day, giving the client a bottle of plastics today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. For the tour, it's already for bottle plastics.
Yeah.
So how about that? I just coming to my idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's enough for this time, Pak Yongki.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
From me. Yes.
Thank you, Ibu Hasiana, the chairman of Asita Jakarta. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Q&A. Please, anybody would like to say something, to ask something, please raise the hand on the chat room, so then we can let them, or let he or she to say some words about what we have listened from Professor Hiram. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, while waiting, I'm very interested about the children exploitation, what Professor Hiram had said, animal abuse, my experience on doing my job. I'm doing short excursion before in Surabaya or East Java. We provided them with bull race. But recently, after the pandemic, I no longer present bull race because it was very fierce. They did the bull race using the sharp sticks and to hit the bull, and they race, and we stopped it. We don't do it any longer. I hope this is one of the animal abuse we avoid from responsible tourism. Okay, is there anybody would like to ask something? Nobody yet raised the hand. Perhaps Ibu Dwiani, perhaps Pak Joseph, perhaps Pak Pranoto. from Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Ekonomi Pariwisata would like to say something, Pak Pranoto, please?
Thank you, Mr. Yongki.
Yes, Pak Pranoto. Can you show your face to Professor Hiram?
I'm sorry, I cannot. Sorry, I cannot open my camera.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I can speak. Thank you for Mr. Professor Hiram.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce myself. I am from Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Ekonomi Pariwisata Indonesia in Semarang. So as educator, I try to push my student to follow about the sustainable in tourism from the small, everything from the small, and then for the industrial, I'm in Citra Gilang Tour as tour operator, as like Miss Hasiana before. We will try to using the special thing to rechange the everything can make the waste. So if we try to from our first for ourselves from the small one, maybe we can contribute to the sustainable tourism.
Yeah.
But sometimes we cannot action more because in our industry sometimes is very interacted with the other sectors, as like for the transportation. We want to try using the friendly transportation, but some of our buses, our coach, they will have some residue. So this is in our capability. Maybe this is not very clear about that. So give me some advice from you, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Pranoto.
Thank you, Pak Pranoto. I mean, what you said is exactly what is happening everywhere. But what I would like to respond is, we don't have to have a perfect solution. We do what we can first. Example, last year when we organized the same conference, ICRTH in Sarawak, we communicated with the hotel what we wanted to see, what we did not want to see. The hotel could not comply with everything, but at least something was done in order to make our practice more sustainable. Because it will be an irony when we talk about responsible tourism on the stage, but when people observe the conference hall, they see plastic bottles, they see all these irresponsible practices everywhere. But at least something is done. So there is a progress. So my response is, we don't have to look for a perfect solution, perfect outcome. Do what we can within our capacity. If it is a little progress, it is a progress nevertheless. But persistence is the name of the game. So if we can do it persistently with ourselves, with our students, with our employees, with our colleagues, I believe that culture, that habit that we built will have a longer lasting impact. Over to you, Pak Yongki.
Okay, thank you very much. I think
Pak Yongki satu
sedikit
menambahkan ya, saya berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia, sorry Dr. Hiram. So untuk Bapak Ibu yang bergerak di bidang akademik, tadi ada Pak Pranoto, Pak Wahyu Hadat. Kebetulan Pak Wahyu Hadat ini guru saya belajar tour planning dari beliau waktu masih muda dulu, Pak. Nah, Bapak Ibu yang bergerak di bidang akademik, ICRTH 2023 juga ada academic presentation session, di mana nanti hasil papernya itu akan diterbitkan di proceeding yang terindeks Scopus. Kemudian tadi saya juga lupa menyampaikan bahwa untuk academic session, kami juga sudah bekerja sama dengan beberapa jurnal internasional yang juga berada di terindeks Scopus, baik Q1, Q2, maupun juga ada yang di Sinta. Begitu Bapak Ibu, ini untuk yang di akademik karena kebetulan ada Bapak Ibu yang bergerak di bidang yang juga sebagai akademisi selain menjadi praktisi. Sedikit itu aja Pak Yongki, terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Bu
I think I
Leni.
understand. Yeah, I understand very well.
Okay, nobody else raising hand. Shall I?
Pak Yongki.
Yes,
Pak
please,
Yongki.
Pak Pranoto.
I'm sorry, I interrupt. For Miss Leni, actually, I'm still preparing for the presentation for the seminar.
Okay,
I would like to join.
Okay, so you will be participating in ICRTH in presenting academic paper. That is wonderful. Thank you, Pak Pranoto.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Pak Yongki.
Yes, Pak Paul, please.
I just want to ask when the registration for paper is closed.
Oh, okay. Bu Leni, when is the registration will be closed?
For paper.
Should be collaborate with Mr. Powell.
Yeah, registration with for paper, Pak Yongki.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Bu Leni.
Yeah, so the registration for paper presentation will start this month in March. We will soon launch the website for registration, and the registration will still open up until around June.
Oh, I see.
And afterwards,
Okay.
there will be a selection of papers, and then we will inform the participants whether their manuscript is accepted or other decision. So it's still a long time, so you can prepare from now. But for the time being, you just submit the abstract. So for the first stage, just submit the abstract, the extended abstract, no need for full paper. And after you have received the email notification that your abstract is accepted, then after that you need to prepare the full paper, Pak Paul. So we will welcome your paper as well.
Good. Would you please to give me the email address so I can...
I will, sure.
Yeah,
I will share the website for registration as well.
I will provide soon my abstract.
Okay. So, Bu Leni, Professor Hiram, you know that one paper will be presented by Pak Paul for sure.
Looking forward to it.
I hope so, yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before I saw Mr. William Law raise hand, but it stopped. Do you still want to say something, Pak William?
Okay.
Yeah, Bapak Ibu, Mr. William Law is one of our friends from Emerald Publishing Malaysia. Mr. William, would you like to say something?
Yes, Pak William, please.
Well, I'm actually excited. Me myself, I'm also in Kuching right now. Visiting our professor, Dr. Hiram, Sifu over there. So I'm excited with his sharing and also the passion, especially the interactions and the comments and also the questions from the floor. Me and our team from the Emerald will also supporting and participating in ICRTH Bogor. So for those that will be there, we will see you there. Please join us in the conference.
Good.
Yeah, sure.
Pass the floor back to you, Pak Yongki.
We can eat rujak Bogor.
Right.
Asinan Bogor, Pak, not rujak
Asinan Bogor, yes.
Okay, after this presentation, I'm sure lots of INTOA members and ASITA members will join the conference. And allow me, later on, I will put this conversation in our YouTube.
Oh.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, still time. While nobody asking, shall I raise an issue about children exploitation? Sometime, ladies and gentlemen, we do a presentation, the children to dance. Some people, it is nice, interesting, but other people, they say this is children exploitation. What is your opinion? Perhaps Professor Hiram, perhaps Pak William, perhaps Bu Leni. To me, seeing children doing creative ways of dancing is a nice way to give them opportunity to do some presentation. But to other people, they said this is children exploitation. Please do your comment.
Pak Yongki, I appreciate the question because this is in line with one thing which I mentioned during my sharing, and that is the understanding of the context. This is why I feel quite annoyed sometimes when I read literature written by strangers about places where we know the best. So there is no yes and no from me. My response is we need to know the context, why children are doing all this. If it is something for good cause, you know, their creativity, they know how to survive, they know how to improvise, it could be a good thing. But of course, at the same time, travel associations like INTOA and ASITA can pick up ideas, what we can do, what initiatives can be done in order to embrace all these street smart children for a greater cause. So many times issues can be seen as opportunities. Their creativity is still being encouraged, but it can be done, channeled in a more effective way. So instead of pointing finger at someone or blaming someone, blaming their parents, no, I think it's important to communicate with them to come up with a more holistic solutions for common good. So not really an answer, Pak Yongki, but a response. Again, why we have a role to play to on one hand, to encourage young people to be enterprising. On the other hand, we can create better platforms or more suitable platforms for them to thrive.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hiram. You said it's not an answer, but my statement is what an answer, what a wise answer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody else who would like to say something to us, something? It doesn't matter if you use Bahasa Indonesia and I try to translate if it is needed. Please, Pak, Ibu, silakan.
Can I give a comment on Pak Yongki's question?
Yes, Pak, please.
Yes, I fully agree what the professors mentioned. But if I may, I just add one thing, that when we talk about responsible tourism and sustainable tourism, both when we use children or when the children learn how to dance and show how they can dance, it's not an exploitation. In Bali, for example, where I know all villages, they train kids from 5 years, even for 4 years, how to play gamelan for boys, and for girls how to dance as well, boys too. And there are schools for children, or they call dance school, and they have to do it. And my group, my tourist group, visit this place, and we give donation to the foundation and the teachers, how they develop the children how to dance. So one thing, Pa Yongki, if the questions come from someone who said exploitation, I would say that guy probably do not understand what the responsible tourism is. Be responsible how to teach new generation to dance, to keep the culture, and also to sustain when the adult dancers getting old, the young will change place. Thank you, Pa.
Okay, thank you very much, Pa Paul. It is also what an answer. It's a very wise one. If I may remember, some 20 years ago, children are taught to to play the angklung, if you know angklung, the bamboo music.
Oh, yes.
It was at the village of Padasuka, and the old man named Mang Ujo. And now, because of his way of teaching to children from very young age, now angklung is very favorite in Indonesia, and it goes international. In a certain presentation, a hall of people, something like 3,000 people ever played angklung at once. It was because of angklung Mang Ujo. That is, I think, the responsible tourism, the sustainable tourism. I hope everybody agree, but it's silly. Now angklung Mang Ujo is dying. If they don't have 20 passengers showing the show, they don't do the performance. We need to help them. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there is no other question to discuss, perhaps I would like to ask Professor Hiram first to make the closing statement before the forum is closed by Pak Paul and Pak Arta. Please, Dr. Hiram.
Thank you, Pak Yongki. Thank you all again for listening. Like I said, this is more a sharing, but I appreciate that you listen to my presentation in a serious manner. Instead of being something that we are excited about, it is definitely something we need to be sober about, what we can do, how we can do it within our capacity in our organizations. I could only provide, simple word like starting with low-hanging fruits, because it's really up to us how we define low-hanging fruits are. But look at what we do, what we have around us. For me as an academic, I always like to begin with my colleagues and my students. And since I have kids, I need to begin with my kids. And since I have an office, I need to make sure my office practices, or it shows what we practice. All these little things we can do in order to make a bigger impact progressively. So once again, I hope this seminar is not the end of our conversation. In fact, it is the beginning of more conversation, more possibilities, more collaboration. If I could see you in person in ICRTH, that would be great. Please let me know you are one of the participants. If you could not make it, hopefully when I visit Indonesia, or if you happen to visit Sarawak, please let me know. I would love to meet you in person, and there definitely will be a lot we can learn from each other. Over to you, Pak Yongki.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Hiram. Now, before the seminar is closed by Pak Paul, I'll let Pak Arta Hanif to say the closing statement. Please, Pak Arta.
This is very important presentation. This is important awareness also for all of us, because this is a role of tourism association, tourism tour operators to be responsible also to start from now onwards. So because sometimes as human being we may forget about something, we may forget about our good philosophy as well. But if it is agreeable, of course, by all of us, especially by Pak Paul as the chairman of INTOA, it is good if for very near future, for this starting for this year, I mean, we can make something like award of responsible tourism to do all the tour operators to all Indonesian. So we can be reminded by this award. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Hanif, the chairman of ASITA, national chairman. Okay, now it's your turn, Pak Paul, to make the closing statement and to close this seminar. Please.
Thank you very much, Pak Yongki. As I told you before, and I have informed Professor Hiram, that I am really impressed. And yes, I have to convey my my statement to you, Pa. I have now 2 professors who love and in the responsible tourism. They are Professor Harold Goodwin, and number 2 is Professor Hiram Ting.
Thank you.
So I thank you very much. Yes, you really love in it. You know what you are talking. You know what you are doing. And we, as the tour operators, as the practitioners, is actually do whatever we learn from you both. Yes, I learn day by day how to be a real responsible person in tourism. Number 1. Number 2, my friends, fellow friends, thank you very much to attend this very admirable and also very valuable lesson today that we learned from Professor Hiram. And yes, I have to say this is not the end. As you said before, Pa. This is not the end, and we will invite you for sure to talk more and more about responsible. Not only talk, but teach us, told us how to do it. As you said before, you teach your children, you teach your staffs, you teach your students and your colleagues and your community. We also hope to have it. Well, many of us, we know how to talk, but less to do, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Papa. Before we end this session, ladies and gentlemen, may I require everybody to open the video so we can make the pictures of everybody. Please.
Very good idea.
The first session, please, Happy. Take the pictures.
Izin Bapak Ibu, saya ambil foto. Terima kasih.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, senyum.
Ya.
1 kali lagi. Sebentar Bapak Ibu.
Fokus ke Pak Prof ya.
Yes, Pak. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Professor Hiram. Thank you, Ibu Leni. Thank you, Pak Paul.
Thank you, Pak William.